What if the universe doesn't care? What if the vast cosmos is utterly indifferent to our existence, a starless night without end? For millennia, humanity has sought to understand this chilling indifference, this unsettling void, and our place within it. This ancient question has led to myths, religions, philosophies, and in more recent times, the rise of a unique and unsettling genre, cosmic horror. Cosmic horror reveals humanity's deepest fear, that we are inconsequential beings adrift in an uncaring expanse, grappling with realities that defy comprehension. Yet within this dread exists the key to understanding the limits of the human psyche. Imagine staring into an infinite night sky, feeling simultaneously awed and utterly insignificant. Cosmic horror allows us to explore that sensation, to confront the unfathomable truths that lie beyond the realm of human understanding. This genre, born from existential angst, acknowledges that the universe holds forces and entities far beyond our ability to control or even comprehend, forces that render human concerns utterly trivial. The origins of cosmic horror can be traced to the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a period marked by scientific advancements that shattered long-held beliefs and a growing sense of existential uncertainty, where the comfortable illusions of religion were being eroded by scientific rationalism. Writers like Edgar Allan Poe, Arthur Machen, and Algernon Blackwood explored the boundaries of human perception, delving into the realms of the weird and the macabre. However, it was H.P. Lovecraft who synthesized these elements into a distinct subgenre. Lovecraft masterfully blended elements of Gothic horror, weird fiction, and scientific speculation to create narratives that emphasized the limitations of human knowledge and the terrifying indifference of the cosmos. A contemporary of Lovecraft, Carl Jung, explored the human mind through the lens of myth and the irrational, and though seemingly disparate, both Lovecraft and Jung tapped into primal anxieties about the unknown. Cosmic horror, therefore, can be seen as a modern mythology for an age of scientific discovery and existential angst, an age where the comforting narratives of the past no longer hold sway. It addresses fundamental human fears about death, meaninglessness, and the fragility of existence by confronting us with the cosmic, that which transcends human comprehension and challenges our anthropocentric worldview. The genre provides a unique space for exploring these anxieties, for grappling with the implications of our fleeting existence in a universe that remains, at its heart, unknowable. Which leads us to wonder, is there something that draws us to cosmic horror despite its unsettling nature? How can we use the psychological tools of Jungian analysis to better understand the enduring appeal of cosmic horror? And what does this tell us about the nature of the human psyche when confronted with the incomprehensible? This question invites us on a journey into the dark corners of the human mind, into the depths of our unconscious fears, and into the very nature of human perception as we understand the world and our place in it. It is a journey that moves beyond dismissing cosmic horror as mere entertainment. This exploration will delve into the key Jungian concepts and explore their relevance to cosmic horror. It will analyze recurring themes and motifs in the genre through a psychological lens, and it will discuss the philosophical implications of cosmic horror for our understanding of reality and human existence. By engaging with cosmic horror's unsettling themes, there is potential for self-discovery and personal growth. A new framework will emerge for understanding both cosmic horror and its intricate relationship with the human psyche. Let us begin our exploration into the intersection of psychology and cosmic horror, and the profound insights it offers into the human condition. Let's explore the concept of archetypes. These universal, primordial patterns of behavior, imagery, and symbolism reside deep within the collective unconscious, influencing how we perceive the world and shaping our responses to it. From the myths we tell to the dreams we experience, archetypes manifest as recurring motifs, characters, and situations, acting as organizing principles that structure our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Imagine these archetypes as the hidden architecture of the psyche, the invisible scaffolding upon which our individual experiences are built. But how do these ancient, psychological structures relate to the vast, often terrifying entities that populate the realm of cosmic horror? Consider the archetype of the Great Old One, a figure of immense power and unfathomable age, slumbering in the depths of the cosmos. This archetype reflects our primal fears of the unknown, of forces beyond our control, and of the overwhelming insignificance of humanity in the face of cosmic immensity. Similarly, we can see parallels between specific archetypes: the trickster, the wise old man, the great mother, and entities in cosmic horror. Nyarlathotep, for example, embodies the trickster archetype with his manipulative and deceptive nature, while Yog-Sothoth, existing beyond time and space, reflects the archetype of the wise old man holding forbidden knowledge. Shub-Niggurath, the black goat of the woods with 1,000 young, echoes the Great Mother, a primal force of creation and destruction. These cosmic entities, therefore, can be seen as projections of the human psyche onto the cosmic canvas, externalizations of our deepest fears and repressed desires. Take, for Ants, H.P. Lovecraft's The Call of Cthulhu. The story's characters, driven by curiosity and a thirst for forbidden knowledge, stumble upon fragments of a truth so vast and terrifying that it shatters their sanity. The titular Cthulhu, a monstrous entity slumbering beneath the ocean, embodies the shadow figure, the repressed, unacceptable aspects of the human psyche projected onto a cosmic scale. Cthulhu is that which civilization fears, the untamed, the irrational, the chaotic, all threatening to erupt and consume the ordered world of human consciousness. In the Dunwich Horror, the character of Old Wutterly, a wizened and reclusive figure steeped in arcane lore, embodies the Senex archetype, the wise old man who possesses forbidden knowledge but is ultimately unable to control its destructive power. We also see examples in Robert W. Chambers' The King in Yellow, in which the play itself acts as an archetype of forbidden knowledge. And in Algernon Blackwood's The Great God Pan, the titular entity represents humanity's repressed instinctual nature returning to wreak havoc on the rational world. In essence, cosmic horror explores the dark side of the human psyche, amplifying our fears and anxieties to a cosmic scale. By giving form to these unconscious forces, it allows us to confront them in a safe, albeit unsettling, space. But what happens when the shadow self is not only personal, but the result of forbidden knowledge, of truths that challenge the very foundations of our understanding? Consider the Jungian shadow, that unconscious aspect of the personality which the conscious ego does not identify in itself, representing repressed or disowned qualities, impulses, and desires. It is often perceived as negative, containing aspects of ourselves that we deem unacceptable, shameful, or even evil. However, it also contains positive qualities, such as untapped creativity, assertiveness, and instinctual wisdom. The shadow plays a crucial role in projection, where individuals unconsciously attribute their own unacceptable impulses or characteristics to others, seeing their own flaws reflected in the world around them. This projection can manifest on a personal level, as when we criticize others for traits we secretly possess, or on a collective level, as when entire groups project their fears and prejudices onto scapegoats, often with tragic consequences throughout history. But in cosmic horror, the concept of forbidden knowledge takes on a particularly sinister dimension as a catalyst for confronting the shadow. Imagine possessing a secret so profound that it challenges everything you believe to be true, knowledge that undermines the foundations of reality and exposes the terrifying indifference of the cosmos. This forbidden knowledge, in the context of cosmic horror, is not merely esoteric or occult. It is knowledge that shatters the ego, the conscious sense of self, forcing a confrontation with the shadow, with the darkest, most repressed aspects of the human psyche. Like Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, The acquisition of forbidden knowledge comes at a price, a loss of innocence, and a descent into a world of pain and suffering. The fruit of knowledge, in this case, is not enlightenment, but a terrifying glimpse into the abyss. Robert W. Chambers' The King in Yellow provides a chilling example of the corrosive effects of forbidden knowledge. The play itself, shrouded in mystery and whispered rumors, possesses a power to drive readers mad after exposure, unlocking hidden chambers of the mind and unleashing repressed desires and fears. Those who delve too deeply into its pages find their sanity unraveling, their perceptions of reality distorted, and their darkest impulses unleashed. Similarly, in Lovecraft's works, the Necronomicon serves as a repository of forbidden knowledge, a grimoire containing arcane rituals and horrifying accounts of cosmic entities. Characters who dare to consult its pages are inevitably driven to madness or death, forced to confront the terrifying truths about the universe and their place within it. These truths are not merely external threats, but reflections of the inner darkness that lies dormant within the human psyche. It is not what these characters learn about the outside world, but what they learn about themselves that ultimately destroys them. In cosmic horror, the most terrifying truths are often those that reflect our own inner darkness. The monsters we encounter in these stories are not simply external threats, but manifestations of our repressed fears, desires, and impulses, projected onto a cosmic scale. The pursuit of forbidden knowledge, therefore, becomes a descent into the shadow, a confrontation with the hidden aspects of ourselves that we would rather ignore. But what if this darkness isn't just personal, but part of something greater, something collective? Let us turn to the collective unconscious, a universal reservoir of archetypes, instincts, and primordial images shared by all humanity. Jung posited that this collective unconscious connects us to the experiences of our ancestors, to the wisdom and the traumas of the human species as a whole. It is the inherited psychic system common to all humans. Cosmic horror narratives tap into this collective unconscious, resonating with primal fears and anxieties that have haunted humanity since the dawn of time. The fear of the dark, the fear of the unknown, the fear of being alone in the universe, these are not merely personal anxieties, but echoes of ancestral experiences encoded in our collective psyche. Cosmic indifference, the central tenet of cosmic horror, represents the ultimate challenge to the human ego and the search for meaning in a meaningless universe. What is cosmic indifference? It is the idea that the universe is fundamentally uncaring, that humanity is insignificant in the grand scheme of things, and that our existence is ultimately without purpose. This concept challenges anthropocentric worldviews, the belief that humanity is the center of the universe, and forces individuals to confront their own mortality and limitations. The psychological impact of confronting cosmic indifference can be devastating, leading to feelings of existential dread, alienation, and despair. It is a confrontation with the abyss, with the terrifying realization that our lives are but fleeting moments in an endless expanse of time and space. Lovecraft's depiction of cosmic entities like Azathoth, an uncaring, chaotic god at the center of the universe, embodies this theme of cosmic indifference. Azathoth is not malevolent, but simply oblivious, an idiot god whose mindless dreaming sustains all of reality. Similarly, Thomas Ligoti's pessimistic philosophy, expressed in his stories and essays, emphasizes the futility of human existence in a universe devoid of meaning or purpose. He challenges the belief in progress, hope, and the inherent value of life, arguing that existence is a cruel joke played on humanity. This theme is explored in the film Annihilation, 2018, where the characters confront an alien force that is reshaping reality without malice or intent, simply following its own unknowable agenda. The film explores the psychological effects of this encounter, as the characters grapple with the loss of their identities, their sense of purpose, and their understanding of the universe. The relationship between the collective unconscious and cosmic indifference suggests that cosmic horror provides a space for exploring the deepest fears and anxieties of humanity in the face of an indifferent universe. It is a genre that confronts us with the limits of human knowledge, the fragility of our existence, and the terrifying possibility that we are alone in the cosmos. But it also offers a strange comfort, a cathartic release of primal fears and anxieties. By confronting the abyss, we can gain a new appreciation for the preciousness of life and the importance of finding meaning, even in the face of cosmic indifference. What psychological insights does cosmic horror offer, and how can we find meaning in the face of the unknown? These questions will be addressed in our next section. Is there anything more unsettling than encountering something that is almost human, yet profoundly, disturbingly not? This sense of unease, this primal revulsion, is precisely what the psychological phenomenon known as the uncanny valley describes, and it serves as a cornerstone of cosmic horror's most potent effects. But what happens when this feeling extends beyond mere physical appearance and bleeds into our understanding of reality itself? The term uncanny valley was originally coined by robotics professor Masahiro Mori in 1970 to describe the relationship between the human likeness of a robot and our emotional response to it. As a robot becomes more human-like, our affinity for it increases until a certain point. Beyond that point, the slightest imperfection, the smallest deviation from true human appearance, triggers a sense of unease, revulsion, and even fear. We are comfortable with cartoonish robots because they don't trigger our human recognition, and we are mostly comfortable with realistic humans. However, something in between triggers a deeply unsettling response in our brains. In cosmic horror, this principle is weaponized. The genre frequently presents entities that are almost recognizable, almost understandable, yet ultimately alien and incomprehensible. These entities skirt the edges of human comprehension, triggering primal fears about the unknown and challenging our fundamental assumptions about reality. Think of Lovecraft's Cthulhu, vaguely humanoid in form, with bat-like wings and an octopus-like head. It's a disturbing mishmash of familiar and alien features. It is this almost human element that makes Cthulhu so profoundly unsettling. This disturbing fusion triggers the uncanny valley response, tapping into our innate fear of the unfamiliar lurking beneath the veneer of the familiar. Cosmic horror masterfully utilizes imagery and themes that exist just beyond the periphery of human comprehension, creating a sense of cognitive dissonance and profound unease. Cognitive dissonance, in psychological terms, refers to the mental discomfort we experience when holding conflicting beliefs, values, or attitudes. The human mind strives for coherence, for a consistent and predictable worldview. When confronted with information that contradicts our deeply held beliefs, we experience a state of psychological tension, a jarring sense of disequilibrium. Cosmic horror thrives on challenging our fundamental assumptions about reality, causality, and the very nature of the universe. It presents us with entities and scenarios that defy logical explanation, that violate the laws of physics, and that challenge our understanding of time and space. This dissonance is not merely intellectual. It is visceral, triggering primal fears about the stability of our world and our place within it. This is not about jump scares or monstrous reveals. It is a sustained assault on our sanity through the violation of what we hold to be true. Consider, for example, the nightmarish entities described in Lovecraft's stories, the Me-Go fungal creatures from outer space that can surgically remove a human brain and keep it alive in a jar. Or the Shoggoths, amorphous protoplasmic masses that can mimic any form. Their physical descriptions alone are enough to trigger the uncanny valley response, their vaguely familiar yet utterly alien features evoking a sense of deep unease. Beyond their physical forms, these entities operate according to laws and motivations that are utterly incomprehensible to the human mind, further amplifying the sense of cognitive dissonance. In the 2020 film Color Out of Space, based on Lovecraft's short story, we see familiar bodies human, animal, plant grotesquely twisted and contorted into horrifying, unrecognizable forms by an alien presence. The familiar becomes alien, the natural becomes unnatural, and the comfortable becomes terrifying. This distortion creates a powerful sense of unease that lingers long after the credits roll. Cosmic horror weaponizes not only the unknown, but the unknowable, that which is fundamentally beyond human grasp. Cosmic horror, therefore, preys on our innate fear of the unknown by presenting realities that are simultaneously familiar and alien, triggering both the uncanny valley response and a profound sense of cognitive dissonance. It challenges our assumptions, undermines our beliefs, and exposes the fragility of our sanity in the face of the vast, indifferent cosmos. But what happens when the very fabric of reality begins to unravel, challenging our sense of self and our place in the world? If the uncanny valley evokes a sense of unease through the distortion of the familiar, cosmic horror utilizes cognitive dissonance to induce a far more profound sense of dread by shattering our understanding of reality itself. Cognitive dissonance, as we've established, arises from the tension between conflicting beliefs, and the human mind is naturally predisposed to seek coherence and consistency. We crave a predictable world, one where cause and effect are clearly linked, where the laws of physics hold true, and where our senses provide an accurate representation of reality. When confronted with contradictory information, the mind employs various coping mechanisms to reduce cognitive dissonance, such as denial, rationalization, or even altering one's own beliefs. However, cosmic horror deliberately assaults these coping mechanisms, presenting realities so utterly alien and incomprehensible that they defy any attempt at rationalization or integration. Think about the human need for control. Modern society is built on the concept of controlling the environment to such an extent that one can have any type of food at any time of the year. This control is one of the fundamental assumptions of modern life, and cosmic horror throws this out the window, revealing a cold and indifferent universe. This tension between our need for a predictable, controllable world and the chaotic, unknowable reality presented by cosmic horror is a key source of the genre's unsettling power. Cosmic horror narratives often employ unreliable narrators, fragmented timelines, and distorted perspectives to further induce cognitive dissonance, leaving the reader questioning the validity of their own perceptions. The subversion of physics and causality is another common tactic, creating scenarios that are impossible to reconcile with our understanding of the natural world. Consider the theme of forbidden knowledge, a recurring motif in cosmic horror. The acquisition of such knowledge invariably shatters the protagonist's worldview, revealing the terrifying truth about the nature of reality and humanity's place within it. This is the ultimate violation of cognitive consistency. One moment, the character believes in a rational, ordered universe. The next, they are confronted with the horrifying truth of cosmic indifference and the existence of entities beyond humpy comprehension. H.P. Lovecraft's The Color Out of Space offers a particularly vivid example of this phenomenon. The alien entity that crashes to Earth not only distorts the environment around it, causing grotesque mutations in plants and animals, but also warps the minds of the characters, driving them to madness and despair. The laws of physics themselves seem to break down in the presence of the color, creating a reality that is both terrifying and incomprehensible. In the film Annihilation, 2018, the alien environment known as the Shimmer defies all known laws of biology and physics. The characters find themselves in a world where DNA is constantly being mixed and recombined, where time and space are distorted, and where the very notion of identity begins to disintegrate. The laws of nature are defied, resulting in cognitive dissonance and ultimately terror. Even the fictional SCP Foundation, a collaborative writing project detailing the efforts of a shadowy organization to contain anomalous entities, provides countless examples of beings and objects that defy scientific understanding. These anomalies challenge our understanding of reality, forcing us to confront the limits of human knowledge. The shattering of reality in cosmic horror narratives serves to expose the fragility of human perception and the limitations of our understanding. It reveals the terrifying possibility that our senses are not providing us with an accurate picture of the world, that there are forces at play beyond our comprehension, and that our very existence is precarious and meaningless. But what are the psychological consequences of confronting such vastness and indifference, and how does it lead to existential dread? Existential dread, a profound sense of anxiety and despair, arises from the recognition of our own mortality, the lack of inherent meaning in the universe, and the overwhelming burden of freedom, and it is further magnified by cosmic horror. Existential dread is a recurring theme in existentialist philosophy and literature, often triggered by moments of profound insight, traumatic experiences, or a confrontation with the absurd. It is a feeling of being adrift in a world without purpose, a world where we are ultimately responsible for creating our own meaning and values. In a world saturated with meaning, provided by societal and cultural institutions, existential dread can remain hidden. However, once exposed to cosmic indifference and the resulting meaninglessness, the dread explodes forth as an obvious and unavoidable truth. Existential dread is intimately connected to the human search for meaning and purpose in a seemingly meaningless world. We crave a sense of belonging, a feeling that our lives have value and significance. When confronted with the vastness and indifference of the cosmos, we are forced to confront the possibility that our existence is ultimately without purpose, that we are merely fleeting specks of dust in an infinite universe. This is why the common theme of finding oneself in cosmic horror is ultimately the realization of one's insignificance. Cosmic horror amplifies this existential dread by emphasizing the insignificance of humanity in the face of vast, ancient, and indifferent cosmic entities, entities that dwarf human comprehension and render our struggles utterly meaningless. Cosmic indifference challenges anthropocentric worldviews, those belief systems that place humanity at the center of the universe as the apex of creation. Cosmic horror narratives depict humanity as a small, vulnerable species at the mercy of forces beyond our control or understanding. We are ants crawling on a chessboard, unaware of the cosmic game being played around us, a game in which our lives are utterly inconsequential. Cosmic horror becomes a reflection of our deepest fears: death, meaninglessness, and the unknown. It is a genre that confronts us with the limits of human knowledge, the fragility of our existence, and the terrifying possibility that we are LPE in the cosmos. Consider H.P. Lovecraft's The Call of Cthulhu, where the protagonist slowly pieces together the horrifying truth about the ancient, slumbering god and its connection to humanity. As he learns more, he realizes the insignificance of human history, the futility of our struggles, and the terrifying power of forces beyond our comprehension. Thomas Ligoti's stories, steeped in a philosophy of pessimistic nihilism, offer another stark vision of existential dread. His characters grapple with the meaninglessness of existence, the futility of human endeavors, and the inherent suffering of life. Similarly, the film Event Horizon, 1997, explores the psychological effects of encountering a dimension of pure chaos and evil. The crew of the Event Horizon spaceship is driven to madness and despair by what they witness, their sense of reality shattered, and their faith in humanity irrevocably destroyed. Ultimately, cosmic horror confronts us with the deepest fears and anxieties of humanity in the face of an indifferent cosmos, providing a space for exploring the psychological consequences of such a confrontation. How can we synthesize these ideas, and what are the broader philosophical implications of cosmic horror? To summarize, we've explored the uncanny valley, cognitive dissonance, and existential dread, each concept acting as a lens through which to understand the psychological impact of cosmic horror. We have seen how this genre taps into primal fears and anxieties about the unknown, the limitations of human understanding, and the insignificance of humanity in the face of a vast and uncaring cosmos. These psychological themes connect directly to the broader philosophical implications of cosmic horror, foreshadowing our upcoming discussion of nihilism, absurdism, and the search for meaning. We have only scratched the surface of how cosmic horror exposes the unsettling truths about the human condition. There is, perhaps, a potential for finding meaning and purpose, even in the face of cosmic indifference. Cosmic horror can be a source of both terror and catharsis, allowing us to confront our deepest fears and anxieties in a safe and controlled environment. The philosophical arguments that arise out of it are the human way of responding to an ultimately absurd universe. If the universe is indifferent and humanity is insignificant, does that mean life is meaningless? And if so, how do we cope with that realization? What coping mechanisms do we develop as a species to face these ideas? As we continue, consider your own experiences with existential dread and your personal strategies for finding meaning in life. The value of understanding cosmic horror lies in its reflection of the human psyche and a means of grappling with fundamental questions about existence. Does the inherent meaninglessness of existence frighten you, or does it liberate you? These questions lie at the heart of both nihilism and absurdism, philosophical frameworks that offer unsettling, yet logical, responses to a universe seemingly devoid of inherent purpose, and they serve as a key theme in cosmic horror. But these are not mere intellectual exercises. They are frameworks of perception, and cosmic horror provides a uniquely terrifying sandbox for these ideas. Nihilism, at its core, is the belief that ultimate meaning and objective value do not exist. Absurdism, on the other hand, accepts this apparent meaninglessness, but proposes that we should embrace the search for meaning in spite of it. It's not as simple as rejecting everything. Existential nihilism argues that life has no intrinsic meaning or value, while moral nihilism suggests that objective morality does not exist. Epistemological nihilism goes a step further, questioning the very possibility of knowledge and truth. Absurdism, championed by philosophers like Albert Camus, acknowledges the tension between humanity's innate desire for meaning and the universe's cold indifference. Camus proposed that we must embrace this absurdity, rebelling against it by creating our own meaning and living life to the fullest in the face of nothingness. The death of God, as proclaimed by Friedrich Nietzsche, signaled the collapse of traditional value systems, leaving humanity to navigate an uncertain world without divine guidance or preordained purpose, and this concept is vital to understanding the foundations of cosmic horror. But how do these abstract philosophies play out in the realm of cosmic horror? The genre provides a fertile ground for exploring nihilistic and absurdist themes, offering concrete examples of their implications for human existence. Take, for instance, the stories of Thomas Ligotti. His narratives are steeped in a pervasive sense of dread and futility, portraying a universe where human endeavors are ultimately pointless, and our existence is nothing more than a cosmic accident. His characters often grapple with the crushing weight of this realization, succumbing to despair or madness in the face of an indifferent cosmos. Lovecraft's The Shadow Out of Time offers an equally disturbing, yet somewhat different take. While the protagonist experiences a terrifying loss of control over his own mind and body, being forced to inhabit the consciousness of an alien being across vast stretches of time, he ultimately accepts the absurdity of his situation. He returns to his former life, forever changed by his experience, but not entirely broken by it. The 2019 film, The Lighthouse, presents a similarly absurdist narrative. The two lighthouse keepers, isolated on a remote island, descend into madness and paranoia, their identities blurring and their sense of reality unraveling. Their struggles are ultimately futile, their fate predetermined by forces beyond their control. In essence, Cosmic horror provides a safe space for exploring uncomfortable philosophical questions, questions about the nature of reality, the limits of human knowledge, and the meaning of existence in a vast, indifferent cosmos. It allows us to confront our deepest fears and anxieties in a controlled environment, to grapple with the possibility that life may be inherently meaningless, and to consider how we might respond to such a realization. This exploration, however bleak, can be strangely cathartic, even empowering. But can there be resilience in the face of cosmic indifference? Is there a path toward meaning-making and even transcendence in a universe that seems to care nothing for us? We are about to explore why humanity feels compelled to create systems of meaning in a meaningless universe, to construct elaborate narratives and belief systems that provide a sense of purpose and belonging. Why do humans cling so fiercely to meaning, even when faced with evidence suggesting the universe is fundamentally indifferent to their existence? This relentless pursuit isn't merely a philosophical exercise. It's a deeply ingrained psychological imperative, perhaps even an evolutionary adaptation honed for survival. The ability to create meaning provides us with a sense of control, predictability, and coherence in a world often characterized by chaos and uncertainty. And without it, the weight of existence can become unbearable. This drive manifests in countless ways, from the construction of elaborate belief systems and the establishment of social structures, to the weaving of personal narratives that provide a coherent sense of self over time, what some psychologists call a narrative identity. Even when confronted with the vast, cold indifference of the cosmos, as depicted in cosmic horror, this innate drive for meaning stubbornly persists. However, the recognition of our own mortality or the implications of humanity's insignificance in the face of cosmic indifference presents a chilling existential challenge. To navigate this, individuals employ a variety of psychological coping mechanisms to construct meaning and assuage the anxieties that arise from contemplating the void. Religion and spirituality, for example, offer solace, purpose, and a sense of connection to something greater than oneself through faith, ritual, and the belief in a higher power. Philosophy provides a framework for understanding existence, values, and our place in the universe, from Stoicism's emphasis on acceptance and virtue to existentialism's focus on individual freedom and responsibility. Science, with its systematic exploration of the natural world, allows us to impose order and predictability on the seemingly random, offering a sense of understanding, if not control. Art and creativity become avenues for expressing emotions, exploring existential themes, and creating beauty as a way of transcending the limitations of existence. And perhaps most fundamentally, relationships and community provide a sense of belonging, support, and shared meaning, anchoring us to something larger than ourselves. These mechanisms, while varied in their expression, share a common goal: to provide comfort, meaning, and a sense of control in the face of overwhelming uncertainty, a bulwark against the encroaching darkness. Indeed, even within the bleak landscapes of cosmic horror, flickers of resilience, meaning, and even transcendence can be found. While many characters in Lovecraft's stories succumb to madness or despair upon glimpsing the true nature of reality, others manage to maintain their sanity and continue their pursuit of knowledge, driven by a powerful moral code or an insatiable scientific curiosity. Consider the protagonist of The Shadow Out of Time, who, despite experiencing a terrifying exchange of consciousness with an alien being, ultimately returns to his life, forever changed but not entirely broken. He pieces together the fragments of his shattered reality, driven by an unquenchable thirst for understanding. The characters in Annihilation, 2018, also exemplify this resilience. Entering the Shimmer, a zone of distorted reality, they face physical and psychological horrors that test the limits of their sanity. Yet they persevere, driven by a combination of scientific curiosity, personal demons, and a desperate hope for answers. Their journey culminates not in triumph, but in a kind of acceptance of the unknown, merging with the alien force that has transformed their world. This isn't necessarily a happy ending, but it is a form of transcendence, a recognition of the interconnectedness of all things, even in the face of annihilation. Outside of Lovecraft, we can see characters in cosmic horror embrace the absurdity of their situations, and within their dark humor find a strange kind of liberation. They reject the notion that they must give in to the terror before them, and in that rejection transcend the boundaries of fear. What, then, can we synthesize from these seemingly disparate elements? The human drive for meaning is undeniable, a powerful force that shapes our perceptions, beliefs, and actions. Psychological coping mechanisms provide the tools we use to navigate existential anxieties and construct a coherent worldview. Resilience allows us to persevere in the face of overwhelming challenges, while transcendence offers a glimpse of something beyond our limited understanding. Cosmic horror, in its unsettling way, serves as a stark reminder of the limitations of human knowledge and the potential for meaninglessness, but it also reveals our capacity for resilience, our ability to find meaning in the face of the void, and to even embrace the absurdity of existence. It is a genre that, paradoxically, can help us appreciate the fleeting beauty and profound mystery of life, precisely because it dares to confront the possibility of its ultimate insignificance. But if cosmic horror can be a source of existential dread, can it also be a source of something positive, like intellectual growth or even hope? As we draw together the threads of our analysis, it is time to synthesize the diverse elements we have explored, from the unsettling aesthetics of the uncanny valley to the profound anxieties of existential dread, all as refracted through the lens of Jungian psychology. Let us proceed deliberately. We've seen how cosmic horror, at its heart, uses jarring aesthetics and narratives of insignificance to challenge our perceptions and spark feelings of existential uncertainty. It dares to confront nihilism and absurdism head-on while simultaneously exposing the human drive for meaning in the face of an uncaring cosmos. The genre, therefore, functions as a unique space where the deepest fears and anxieties of humanity are not only explored, but also, in a strange way, validated. By embracing the unsettling nature of cosmic horror, we can begin to understand something fundamental about the human condition, namely, the simultaneous terror and wonder of existence. Let us return to the question posed at the beginning of this exploration. How can we employ the psychological tools of Jungian analysis to better understand the enduring appeal of cosmic horror? The answer, as one might expect, is not simple nor easily summarized. However, it is perhaps accurate to say that our journey through Jungian concepts and cosmic horror themes has provided a deeper appreciation for the complex interplay between the human psyche and the vast unknown. What may have initially seemed like mere monster stories can now be seen as powerful explorations of the human psyche, reflecting the shadows of the collective unconscious and the struggle to find meaning in a world indifferent to our existence. It is by confronting our deepest fears, as reflected in the indifferent cosmos, that we can truly begin to understand the nature of our own humanity. The struggle to find meaning in the face of cosmic indifference is a struggle shared by all of humanity, a testament to our resilience and our capacity for wonder, even in the face of overwhelming darkness. Cosmic horror, in this light, is not merely a source of terror, but a mirror reflecting our inner darkness, and a lens through which we can glimpse the light of self-awareness. It is the abyss, staring back, asking us what we will create in the face of its indifference. The ideas we've explored here offer a starting point for further investigation into the relationship between psychology, philosophy, and cosmic horror. Consider how the narratives of cosmic horror might help you confront your own deepest fears and anxieties. What does the cosmic indifference say about our innate sense of self-importance? What does the existence of monsters, both external and internal, say about the hidden aspects of our psyches? Future investigations could focus on applying these insights to specific works of art, literature, or film, analyzing their psychological impact and exploring their symbolic meaning. Thank you for joining me on this exploration.